So here's what we got. It's 24 by 1/8 by 4 inches by 7/8 and 7/8 thick. So let's get back here. So now what I need to do is figure out where I want to bore these holes need to go. Now you saw me using this pen. They're actually special pens, and this was my first leather project I actually did to learn how to do my leather crafting. If you go on to my Instagram account, you can see all the leather projects I've done. Here's another one really quick, is just a throwing knife sheath. So I did that earlier. I think it came out pretty cool. So if you look, there are 4 holes here. These 4 holes actually are used to put these little pieces on here to hold pieces of wood. Have them over there, but I'm not going to show you guys right now. So if I look at this, I have a hole here. I have a hole somewhere over here. I have another hole over here. Another hole over here. And then I have 2 holes here and here. And then another one over here. And this one is these bottom ones here are to mimic these, but on the opposite side. And then again, I got this larger hole and then a smaller hole with a small hole inside here. So we'll do that real fast. And what I mean inside is, if you look inside here, there's a small hole compared to the bigger hole, right? So I'll have to get the depth of this cut. That shouldn't be too hard with a pair of calipers. So if I look closely, those circles are all about the same. What I may do is grab some of my mortise bits and see which ones fits in there, and that's probably a good way to measure up the size to make sure they're the right size. So let me get some quick dimensions here, and we'll move forward with this design drawing. So what I can tell from this is that this 3/4 inch one is just about right, where this one's just a bit oversized. With the swelling, these are actually bigger, right? So I think 3/4 inch is a safe number to say. So all these big ones are going to be 3/4 of an inch. They're all the same size. So we'll say 3/4 for those, for all these, and that's going to be the large circle. And then the small circle is going to be, let's see, the small hole, excuse me. It is the circle, but it's a hole too. I'm going to get from the back here where it hasn't been too waterlogged from being left outside. So now, and I think it's not going to be 3/8 either. So what I'm going to do is use this as my guide for that, because basically what it has to be is the size of this bolt, which is probably something like a 5/16. So we'll figure that out right now. Yep, that's a 5/16 drill bit, fit in there perfectly fine. So we go, there's a small one is 5/16. So there we go. We got our different size holes now. Now comes the harder part, is actually how do we arrange this in the location that it needs to be. I do have some CAD software that can help me figure that out. But now that I know the exact size of these, I'll be able to get kind of a pretty good approximation of their location. Pretty simply by just figuring out the edge to the edge and coming up with some basic math. So first thing first is that I'm going to use my blue pen here and draw some center lines on here. And I'll take another scan of this so you guys can see what I did. Actually, what I didn't do is get this other second smaller hole, which is the first, second, third. So I'll figure that one out right now. This is basically this hole here. We're going to call this number 2, or actually, sorry, number 3. This is 1 and 2, and these are 1s. So that way I know which ones these are. And this is a 1 and a 2. And we're going to say this is a 1, this is a 2. And let's see what this is. I'm thinking it's probably a 1/2 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch. Alright. So now I'm going to start doing the guesswork because of the inflammation or the expansion of the wood here. So let's see what the edge, approximate edge looks like here. I'm going to start looking at 1/16 of an inch. So I can tell you right now, these bottom ones are 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. So I'm going to do that real fast. So we'll know that this line here, from here to here, is 3/4 to the edge, basically, not the center line. And with math, of course, we'll find out that, you know, we add a 1/4 inch more to that, and these being a 1/2 inch, actually, sorry, they're 3/4 inch, right? 1/2 of 3/4 is, what is it? Something in eighths. I'll figure out the math, and we'll figure out the center from that. That's reflective on both sides. We're going to call the spacing here 7/16. Then I'm going to measure the edge to the other, this edge, inside edge of the circle, to figure out basically what is this gap here. Should be fairly short. Let's see, looks like the same spacing. Yeah, it's not exactly 1/2 inch. So 7/16. Now what I'm going to do to get the spacing between the two holes here is I'm just going to measure the inside edges from each one. It's exactly actually 4 3/4, which is perfect. And that's mirrored to the other side. So I only need to do one side on the drawing. So I'm only working on this side. I'm really not working on that other side. So now the little trickier part is actually finding out where I'm going to put the 2 holes that hold the plastic piece in that fit on the rails. So interesting enough, they have to fit exactly apart because they fit in a rail. So I need to make sure that they are equally from either edge or between each center. So it's going to work out if I make sure I'm off a reference edge. I'm going to call that 1 1/4 inches. I like that. Oh, sorry, 1 3/4 inches. And then the spacing between them, which I can validate with plastic here, it's going to be basically 1.5 inches. I like 1.5 inches. And the last thing I need to do is just get the measurement from the small hole out to this edge here, so that way I know that spacing. So I'm going to do that really quick. Alright, I got all the dimensions I need. I'll scan this in so you guys can see this. I'm going to do some math, and probably the next video you're going to see is that I'm going to get the wood for this, make it out of something heftier, and then throw it up on the X-carve and get this all dialed in. So I'll see you guys in a little bit.